everyone. Welcome to Melbourne's podcast. It's all about taste. I have two special guests with me today to talk about the longevity in the F&B business. So first, I have Mr Anthony Wong from Creative EATERIES, and I have Chef Elton Seah, who is the owner and chef of HolyCrab. So guys, welcome. Thank you so much for taking your time and joining me in this impromptu podcast that we're doing.
Thank you for inviting.
Yes, it's our pleasure too.
Yeah, so right to it, we're here to talk about longevity. Both of you, we have different scales of the experiences of running your own business in F&B. So, Mr. Anthony, you've been around for quite some time. You started your career with a Hyatt Group as well. Then in 1992, you started to do it your own. That's when you launched Creative EATERIES. Until date, it's 29 years running. Around 44 restaurants you have under your belt. Plus, you have a catering arm in the region as well. How did it all start, and what made you leave the comfort zone of a hotel group to go on your own?
It's quite a story.
Yes.
So I was with the company, the Hyatt, for about 8 years. My last posting was in Jakarta, and that was I think 1990, and I met a lot of young enterprising Indonesians, and most of them owned at least 2 if not 3 businesses.
Wow, okay.
So I was working very laboriously in the hotel, like 16 hours, 18 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, And I asked myself, how come I don't own a business?
Sure.
But of course, in those days, it's not enterprising to own businesses. Yeah. But it suddenly dawned on me that maybe I should give it a shot. Yeah. So one day I decided to take the plunge.
Okay.
And I say I was 30 years old. It's now or never. Because my next position was going to be general manager of the Hyatt Bandung or something like that.
Yeah.
So I said, it's either now or never.
Sure.
So I took the plunge and I came back and I kind of like did my research for a year in Singapore, just looking at the scene and the industry in general, and asked a few advice from veteran chefs like Otto Weiber and things like that too. And he said Holland Village is the best place to do it.
Okay.
And that's where my first restaurant was, Holland Village. Yeah.
In Holland Village, 29 years ago.
29 years ago.
Elton, you were mentioning previously that you came from a logistics point of view. That's what
Yes.
your past life, as we can call it.
Yes.
And then you moved into private dining, and now you have your own restaurant.
Correct.
Give us, I know it's all about passion, but maybe walk us through your mindset behind that.
Okay, so while in logistics, I was doing private dining. So that's how I started. I started building up a customer base. I started building my recipes, my collection of menus I want to put. And after a good 10, 11 years, then I've managed to build up enough customers to say, hey, maybe I should start opening a brick and mortar store. Yeah. And go full-fledged.
And that was in 2017, I believe.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Correct. So that's how HolyCrab grew. Yeah. And that's how we started at Bugis, Tangkulang, and now we have moved to a new place at Capitol Theatre. And it's been working well so far.
So, okay, now we're talking about longevity. I think not in Singapore, but around the world, you've seen everybody wants to open a restaurant. Everybody wants to be owner of an F&B outlet, but not a lot survives the 2-year mark. Yep. Usually, you see a lot of people invest a lot in 2 years. Why do you think is that? Is it they're not ready, or it's just, because you guys have been in the industry for so long already, you know how it takes, and it takes a lot of guts and a lot of hard work behind. And now you have COVID, so you're just talking about since every 5 years or every 3 years is something big. But what makes it last longer? Is it the drive? Why have you not, have you been days like, okay, I'm done with this, what's next? Or it's like a passion owning?
Well, I think a brand, like any other brand besides restaurants, it can last as long as you can make the brand relevant. Okay. And relevant is really the most important thing. Yes. And I think the trick is to make the brand relevant. Mm-hmm. And whether it is a hotel or independent restaurant, I was just thinking, what should I say if this question comes up? So, like for example, during the time when I was at the Hyatt, we had Nutmegs and we have Hugo's, we have Chinoiserie, and then in 1990. 6 or 7, the hire decided to knock all these 3 restaurants down and make it the mezzanine.
Okay.
And that lasted a good 20 years.
Yeah.
And I think that I was told that they are going to do something soon. So same thing for our restaurants, you know. I had a restaurant called Patara Thai Restaurant in Tanglin Mall, and that opened in 1994.
Yeah.
And it's still around today, but it has gone through 3 key changes over the last 28 years. So the name stays, but the food, the styling, and the clientele, the positioning change along the way. And we are about ready to do our 4th change in the next 12 months.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
So if you need to keep it evolving to stay relevant to the market, to the consumer, to the economy of that period of time.
Elton, what about you? You have one style, right?
Yes.
Has that changed throughout the years from private dining? Because private dining, you said you know your consumers quite well.
Yep.
They could be returning. But when you move into the restaurant scene, you have a lot of walk-in people who might not know. Because you're in a very nice spot in town. What do you do when people are like, okay, I'm HolyCrab? What do they look forward to? What is your plan? Let's put it that way.
Okay, I mean to summarize it, basically you need to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
You need to stay true to the food that you're gonna serve.
Yes.
As in, like, do not like, hey, people tell you should do this, then you jump to that. Oh, you should do that. You do that. So believe in yourself. Believe in what you're gonna do. And obviously the main objective is to pump out good food.
Correct.
You know, food that everyone would enjoy and treasure.
But Elton, now you see a lot of things that there's a change in dynamics, right? Where people, you can call it because of COVID, or you can just say change in generations and how people consume food. How, as a chef and an owner, how do you tackle that? Because probably things that worked 11 years ago when you started, let's say, would not be relevant now.
Okay, my concept and what I tell my chef is always, you know, we need to cook food that people cannot cook at home or they cannot replicate at home.
Correct.
It's just, for example, like wok hei.
Yeah.
For example, home domestic fire can never achieve that.
True.
Only restaurant fires can. So, you know, if we are cooking things that people can replicate at home, we won't be in business for long.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You agree?
That's true.
Yeah. And the other thing is in terms of longevity, in terms of changes, what we need to always pursue is, making sure that our focus is right, our direction is right, and also to create a unique restaurant environment where people will want to come and take photos. For example, right now Instagram is a huge thing.
Correct.
And that's where we invested quite a fair bit of money to make our restaurant Instagrammable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still remember the clap calls that.
The claws are there, and it's really eye-catching.
Yeah, correct. I mean, once you walk past, you see that draws people
yes,
in.
Correct.
But Mr. Anthony, you have such over the region itself. Isn't it different and difficult for you to, like, in terms of Singapore is very different to let's say Malaysia or in the region itself? How do you manage that?
Managing the business?
Managing the business, because the needs of, let's say, a Malaysian consumer is very different to Singapore. So this, you can't replicate the business model per se. It might not work in Malaysia. So how are you planned for that? Is it like you work something out, or it's like same recipe that worked in Singapore, worked in other regions?
I think the market, while the brands are there, the market is quite different. You know, many years ago, I started my first restaurant in Malaysia, thinking that the Kuala Lumpur market is exactly the same as the Singapore market. But I was terribly wrong, and I lost a lot of money. Okay. You know, but after many years, going back to KL most of the time to study the market, I realized the market is totally different from Singapore. So you just need to do the homework and from quality of food, taste to marketing, it has to suit the local market. The only good thing about the Malaysian market, I find that it is not as competitive as the Singapore market.
Okay.
Although it has become rather competitive the last few years, but nothing compared to the Singapore market. Singapore market is very competitive.
Understand.
You know, so things evolves very quickly.
Yeah.
So you really need to be ahead of the game. Whereas the Malaysian market, you can still find time to scale and find time to grow, and rather than keep evolving all the time. Yeah.
But Elton, how important is working with partners? You know, a lot of people think there's a lot of things behind. So it could be from the suppliers to your landlords. How important does that play for the longevity of a business?
Essential.
Yeah.
It's essential, that we have a good relationship with our suppliers.
Yeah.
And having said that, we need to pay them on time. Because it's a two-way, it's a relationship, husband and wife.
Yeah.
If we don't have a good relationship with our suppliers, they will screw us over.
Yeah.
I need crabs today. Oh, sorry, we don't have. Or they give you crappy stuff, crappy crabs.
Crappy crabs.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love to build a long-term relationship with my suppliers, and we are very transparent with them in what we do and how we pack each food to each supplier.
Yeah. Mr. Anthony, some people say it's good just to work with one set of suppliers, right? Like it could just be ABC company, let me just, because he started it with me and I built that relationship throughout the years. Is it wise to work with just one, or you have to keep it open to others to see what new products are available, to keep yourself refreshed, or having one where you will work for 20 years, it's a good relationship? Or what's your take on that?
Well, the first 10-15 years of my business, when it was rather small, we had, I think in the first 15 years, we built only about 12 restaurants.
Yeah.
So we were focusing on growing the business. So we didn't fiddle with different suppliers, because that takes time to build new relationship. Correct. So we literally stick with the same supplier for the first 10-15 years. Of course, now our business footprint has changed.
Yes.
Sometimes the suppliers that we had in the past couldn't accede to the scale that we want, and today with digitalization, you can really take advantage of some cost saving if you sleep with more than one partner. So we are also in the business of making money. Correct. And loyalty is good. Long-term relationship is good, but then the business have to make money sense too. So we now curate our suppliers on a mid to long term kind of basis. So because sometimes when the business profile change, they cannot deliver, we have to find substitute.
Correct. So Elton, coming to the end already, what would you say for those inspiring to, it could be a chef who's looking at opening his own restaurant, but what advice would you give them?
Okay, I always say this. Yeah. Never ever think of giving up your business or let it auto run. Okay. I mean, there's no such thing as an autopilot in the F&B business. Yeah. You have to be hands-on. You have to know what you want, work at it, and do not let the staff just run the show, because that will be a quick downslope to no return.
You need to be present. You need to know what's happening.
You need to be there.
Yeah, Mr. Anthony, for those who are aiming to be a restaurateurs, have not one, like they have multiples, what is your advice to them? For entrepreneurs who like to be restaurateurs like yourself, what is your advice?
Especially now we are post-COVID.
Yes.
We just came out from one of the worst crises ever in the last 29 years in my business. Yes. I think, and I just did a mentor session to a food and beverage group yesterday, and my advice to them is runway.
Okay.
Everything you do today, you must do it with a 5 to 10 years runway.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 years is not enough. Because if today you invest in a restaurant, if you can get back your return in 36 months, you are pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I aim for 24.
Okay, fair enough.
So 36 is very good. So as all of us know, after 36 months, the landlord wants to increase your rent.
Yes.
Then you have to up the game a little bit more, and you can't pack it up because then it's a bloody waste of your time.
Yeah.
So I would say a 5 to 10 year runway kind of outlook, not only financially, mentally, you must be prepared to do this gauntlet for 5 to 10 years. Oh, tough. Yeah.
Elton, from a chef owner perspective, right, when would you look like it's the right time to open a second outlet?
Okay, so my expansion plan isn't really opening multiple outlets around Singapore, because I feel that I want to concentrate my food, and also I want to be there to host my guests. So hence, multiple outlets is not my way of opening up. So for me, should I want to open, it's only different countries.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like one in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, one in China, stuff like that. So for me, it's going bigger.
All right.
It's not multiple locations.
Not in Singapore.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be harder because you are such a person that you like to communicate with the guests? You need to be present. How would that be different if you have an arm in Vietnam? Because you come into places as one.
Correct. Yes. I've not experienced it.
Yeah.
But it will definitely be harder in terms of food quality and control, because I'm not there every day, to try the sauce, to make sure my guests are happy. Yeah. So I mean, I will definitely need a partner. Should I do that?
Yeah.
And work out how best to maintain our standard of recipe and taste.
Okay, Mr. Anthony, before any last words for people who are watching? Anything to say? Any positive words? Anything?
Well, I think that especially the last few years, we are very excited with this whole idea of digitalization, information technology, transformation, online platform, and things like that. But I still feel that at the end of the day, people still like to dine in brick and mortar stores. So if there's one business that can definitely survive the test of time, it would be the restaurant business. So please don't compete with me and open a restaurant.
Sure.
But I think it's a good business because if your food is good, the service is good, the price is right, you don't need to. It's not rocket science. To bring customers to your restaurant.
So Elton, let's summarize. Longevity. Summarize everything. What we discussed. What comes to your mind in longevity? How did one achieve it?
Basically, stay true to your food. Okay, know what the customer wants, deliver to them. It's all about service, good food, good price.
Okay.
And stick to your guns.
All right, excellent. Then with that, I say thank you for watching, and thank you, Chef Elton, and thank you, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you.
You know where to find them below. You'll find the links to the restaurants, and thank you for watching. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.